Okay, coming back for the last part of this word as we wrapping up. So in the Quantum Leap episode, the wife sees her husband laying on the ground, but she can't touch him because she's a hologram in this reality. She can't put her hands on him. She can't try to stop the bleeding. She can't do anything to actually assist him. We, as the God ordained wives, we can't do nothing to help the battle that your God ordained spouse is doing right now, but to stand in the gap in prayer. She freaks out and she calls the office. And it was a head above her that she called. She's like, oh my God, he's bleeding. I can't touch him. Oh my God. He was like, calm down. The guy on the phone was like her calling God. It's like you when you call God and say, I don't know what I can do for him right now. I've done everything I know I can. I've prayed, I've fasted, I've done everything. What do I do? I can't stop what's happening. I can't stop what he's being tempted by. I can't stop it. All I can do is stand in the gap and pray. What you want me to do? And he said, what, you are a medically, he had to get her back in order with herself. He said, you are a medically trained person. What skills did you learn? He was reminding her of her skill set. He's like, what skills did you learn in order to help him? Help him. That's what God does to you in the middle of a test. You can help your God ordained spouse. What can you really do for him right now? Think about that. She starts to order him to listen to her and do exactly what she says. And he's like, I can't move. It's getting dark. I'm hurt. And he's holding on to the bleeding wound at his neck. And he's like, I can't. And she's like, yes, you can. Some of you need to go into prayer. If you know that the Lord allots you the ability to speak to your spouse, you better start talking to your spouse with everything that you have in you to give them the encouragement that they need. You better start praying in the spirit to give them the encouragement that they need. You better give them everything that you got within to give them the encouragement they need. Because they're in the middle of a life or death situation, and you're standing right now is the only thing between them and death right now. And she started telling him, push through this. Get up. Get up. Don't, you're not going to die here. You're not going to die here. And she told him to go up the ladder. And he's like, go up the ladder. He said, she's like, I need you to hold your neck and I need you to pull up the ladder. He's like, I ain't got enough energy for that. She said, do it. I'm going to walk you through the process. You got to get out. You got to get to a car and you got to honk the horn. Do what I'm telling you. And in the next scene, they don't have, you start to see him pulling up the ladder, but then the next scene, you don't see how he got from the manhole to a car, but he managed to find himself a way to get to the car, drag himself to the car, get into a passenger seat of somebody's car. And it was pouring down rain. God is bringing forth, even in the midst of your God ordained spouse's trials, while you are praying for them, while you're standing for them, while you are instructing them what they need to go as technical support. I just said this. God's leading them out. And he felt like he was dying right then. And she said, I need you to listen to me. And she started to give him remembrances of when they got married in certain little dumb moments. The things that you do and say right now will be the things necessary to keep him going. Because if he don't make it out of this, you're not going to make it out of this. So you got to give him everything he needs, whatever that is, whether it's prayer, whether it's praising Jesus, whether it's whatever it is that's necessary, whether you go and sit in the spirit and just start to speak to this man's spirit. Whatever it is that he needs in that moment, you keep pushing him because he's going to get to you. Because the fight is on his side, more so as it is than yours. Buffy wasn't fighting in that episode. She was sitting and resting. She just needed to get her body back in order and take the cure. He was the one that was fighting the majority of this episode. of Quantum Leap. He got to the car and she talked to him and she kept paying attention to the surroundings. You spiritually are paying attention to the surroundings of everything that's going on around y'all because you know that you can get him the assistance that he needs. You're the lifeline. You're the cure to his pain right now. She sees two people coming out the building with umbrellas and she says, honk the horn, honk the horn. When you honk the horn, they'll come to you. He's like, I don't have enough energy. She's like, you gotta do this. You have to push them, the last push. And he reaches out and he hits with as much energy that he has left in his body to hit that horn and press it in. And they immediately come to the car. As they're coming to the car, he leaves, meaning he was able to leap out of that person's body in that moment. And she gives a report that the man survived and he made it to his next destination. You are the lifeline for this man getting to where he needs to go. You are guiding him out. You are doing that. So, with that being said, what was the other thing? In the last scene of the Buffy episode, it had her sitting in the corner of the room in the hallucination, right? And it was kind of almost to give you that false sense of, was it a hallucination or was it a hallucination? The enemy will always give you that element where you feel like, have I been following God for the wrong reason all this time? And he just led me into, the way I like to say it is that old Jay-Z line from the rap song. What does it say? Either this is love or I'm caught in the Matrix. This simulation that you just went through, or what they went through, the simulation that the Lord allowed you to go through was a simulation. It wasn't real. It was only necessary in order to give y'all the tenacity to fight through. Because the battles y'all gonna come up against when you get to where you're going, y'all have to have the strategic allyship to be able to operate together. I started playing, the strategic allyship that he's given you is in order to allow you the ability to get out of this situation. There are things, people, and places that he's going to allow you to be able to go through. I was thrown off. Somebody came by the door and I was about to say something. But he's given you what you need. He's giving your God-ordained spouse what they need to get out of these seasons. You're going to make it out of this. You really are going to make it out of this. But you have to trust God in this situation. He's going to get you where he needs you to go, and he's going to get your husband to you. You're each other's cure. The very same thing that hurts you is your antidote. For those of you that have been through relationships with your men, he's your antidote. You're the cure. You're the thing that's pushing them out. For you and your cure, they are the cure. The way that this promise hurts you is the cure. It's getting some things out of you that you needed to get out of you, and it's getting some things out of them that needed to come out of them. I showed you in a previous video, or in a video, it may not have come up yet, but your God-ordained spouse has gone through a level of pruning internally. And what he went through internally, it was like he had to go through a quick healing process. It's like when a person gets a virus, the Lord will, you think they got sick. The moment that parasite infiltrated their body, the body went on defense against what came into them. And what was necessary in order for the defense to work was for them to go into a resting state and for God to process it out of them. It got ugly, it got nasty, it got sweaty, it got all of this in order to process them so that they can come to you. Okay? The Lord showed me a scene from the episode Graduation where Angel was sweating out the poison that was in his system. Some of your God-ordained spouses had to sweat out all of the wrong doctrines and behaviors and the things that they picked up all these years of being in there that he'd come accustomed to. After God opened their eyes, he had to strip them of it. And they had to go through the sickness and the illness process of that coming out. It's like they were detoxing, like a person that used to do drugs, detoxes. They were detoxing of all the toxins of the world so that they could be able to walk into the right thing with you. Yeah, am I missing anything? There was something else I thought that I needed to talk about. I think I covered it. For when it came down to that last scene, the enemy's always going to bring you those few little things in order to test your doubt, to test your ability to that, because he just wants to see, well, are you still certain that wasn't the right reality? You still certain that promise is going to come? It's coming, and it's about to meet you at the door. You have to trust God that he's going to do it, though. I think I hit on every point that he wanted me to hit on, and I'm going to come back in the next word. I got one more thing I got to talk to you about, and I ain't got that much time. So I love you with the love of Jesus, and we're going to come back for our last word.